So I got suspended. It was a 5-day suspension at that. I came to work late and I got a 5-day suspension. I was driving to work, and on my way there I realized I was just moving slow. I worked 3 jobs on Friday, two on Saturday, and 2 on Sunday. And here I am Monday morning. Mind you, it's Thursday today, however. When I got to work on Monday, I was just moving. My mind was moving fast, but my body was moving slow. And that's because I'm accustomed to my body adjusting to not sleeping for a few days, like just enough, adequately, an adequate amount for a few days. But it does catch up to me. But thankfully, because I'm a security officer, the standing shifts don't get in the way. I'm able to then rest at the post where I'm able to sit down. And so that's what Monday's shift was. And so on Monday, I'm driving to work and I was so exhausted. Oh, please forgive me. I know you're trying to watch this video while this is longer than this one, but just focus on what I'm trying to say. When I get to work, I'm just like, I know I'm about to get suspended because I've already been advised that I was given chances before. So when I get to work, I end up getting written up. But because they said this was my 6th time being late on record, that this is actually going to result in a suspension. And I said, okay. And immediately I realized that I felt relief. It was, sometimes you don't really know how you'll feel in that moment until you actually are in that moment. And that's how I felt. I felt like, wow, I'm about to get I guess I took it and I looked at it as a break. So it came around to where it's after 6:30, and we did the debriefing, and all the officers that are already on schedule end up leaving, and I'm coming on schedule with all the other new officers. I was informed that by 12 o'clock I need to turn on my radio and I need to leave the premises, and I said, okay, cool. 12 o'clock come around, then I go to the lead because I'm called, and he by radio, and he's just like, I need you to come over to this location. And I go over there, and he reads my report thus far about all my findings and observations. And when I submit it over to him, I say that I worked November 9th, and you are instructing me to not return back to work until to call on Friday. It's Monday, mind you. To call on Friday and to report back to work on Saturday. However, I worked November 9th, and I was told an hour before 6:30 that an hour before my shift ended, that, hey, can I work later? And that was by another lead officer. And he was like, well, who told you to work that shift? I said, another lead officer. And mind you, I'm talking to a lead officer. His name is Lead Officer S. And so I say that lead officer text messaged me and asked me if I could work. I said, yeah. And then he was just like, okay, well, I don't have nothing to do with that. I said, okay. The thing is, I already worked the shift and I need my 240, and I'm about to be off for a whole week. And so I'm just trying to clock, hey, y'all don't allow now what is going to be 2 weeks, and y'all not going to be able to remember it, that I worked the shift and I was not able to clock in, but I was requested to come in. He was like, oh, the one where you was asleep? I said, I thought you didn't know about the schedule. I thought you didn't know about that shift. He was just like, yeah, the one where you was asleep. He's talking as if he's revealing details from another conversation. I don't know whatever he's talking about, and I'm not finna incriminate myself, because if I did sleep on a shift, and mind you, I'm a security officer. Mind you, I was asked during my shift, so how was I gonna have time to prepare? I honored their request for this company that I'm working for, and now I feel like I'm being mocked and ridiculed, and I'm also feel like I'm being dismissed and ignored about me asking for my money. Now you're trying to clock it as if I'm trying to you're trying to make it seem as me sleeping has anything to do with me not getting paid. So now, I'm not saying I was asleep, but I know I did the report, and I did 12 observations for that report, which means I was awake every single hour. And I like to do the reports because I don't like anybody to come to me at the end of the day and be like, oh, I need you to give notes about what oh, I've been doing that since 6:30. I've been doing that since the top of the shift. I did 12 hours. And so since I did the report with the other and the other officer was present, I said, y'all can go ask that other officer who did the report. It was submitted onto the this company's app. So check. He said, well, send me the text message of the person that asked you. I said, okay. And I showed it to him, and then I screenshotted it. And I said, will this suffice? He said, yes. So I sent it to him. And then he was like, oh, you know what? You're not going to know if you were asleep because a picture was taken of you. That's how I did. And I'm just like, okay, now we're having a parallel conversation. I'm having a conversation about y'all going to remember to give me my 240, 2-week post after the date. And he talking about, the one where you was asleep. Let me tell you something. You're going to pay me. After I drive off, I start crying. But by the time I get home, I realize, I don't realize. I'm still in my thoughts trying to analyze if I'm crying because I'm on my period or because I'm really hurt by somebody that's dismissing me because he was trying to throw digs. He was trying to be saucy. This man, this is the same man where after the debriefing, y'all need to check for this, y'all need to check for that. He was like, all right, y'all have a good shift. The officers were leaving, so he started fist bumping everybody. When it came to me, he took my fingers out of a fist and started checking my nails. Like, you need to go get your nails done. But then he started fist bumping everybody else, and I was like, what? I just walked away, walked to my post. Then there was another time where there were some officers, there was some head of the company having meeting with the leads of the company, and I am asked to come over there and remember that I need to speak with HR. So I walk over to where these group of men are, and lead S is over there. Lead officer S is over there, and he asked me about my contribution, like what I observed at my post. I said, this is and that. He said, I actually have to get to another job. He says, okay, then go comb your hair. And I walk off, and I'm just like, what? I was like, all right, thank you. And then I walk off. And that is the kind of person I am. There's other people that I know that they're different, and they'll immediately start roasting and da-da-da. Although I'm funny or whichever, and I crack jokes and things like that, this dude, this is not the same thing. You know what I'm saying? There's different kinds of comedy. There's different kinds of styles of talking, right? Even though I use my words, and a lot of times I am funny, I'm silly, this is actually how I'm known. However, what he's doing to me in these moments that I'm describing to you, this is not one of the elements in what's actually funny. In these particular environments, not like when it's a comedian talking to an audience. I'm talking about these environments. He would actually need to know if I'm cool or not with him, because I'm not receiving this as cool. He's just saying these comments, and I'm noticing he's always saying it publicly. I'm noticing it's always publicly, and it's in the presence of other men. So he's trying to joke and seem whatever his goal is at my expense. Mind you, I'm one of only 3 women in this whole company, and which is fine. Not as 2 women that do these the non-clubs, because there's other clubs and they don't even come over to apartment complex. So I said, okay. I ended up going after work that day and going to buy in 3 weeks. And because all I kept doing was just wear my hair back in a scrunchie, And at the end of the shift, my hair, which is curly, would actually just come out of the gel and just be wafting in the wind and whichever. So I was like, okay, let me buy a stronger gel. Didn't get around to that, but I did buy a wig. And I was reported to work. Then he started, I remember someone was like, okay, I got you. I reported to work, and one of the admin, which is a man, said, "Okay, got your hair done. I see you." Lead officer S says, "Can't you tell that's a wig?" He said, "You can always tell by the parting." And although that's true, I was just like, wow, this guy is. I was looking for a word, and I keep saying saucy or sassy, but I just feel like it's just so different to me. I'm constantly caught off guard, but it's revealing more about me. Being in these situations, it's revealing more about me. So I finally stopped just thinking and analyzing when we're at another debriefing, because I was working every single day and I was working every single night. But we're in another debriefing, and he was giving instructions. Lead officer S is saying, "Hey, what we're going to start doing is that we are going to go up and down these stairs, and we're going to make these observations, and this is what we're going to add to our notes. We're not just going to be going around the property. We're going to go up and down these stairs." And I was like, okay. Okay now. And I felt like this is what I get, because I said, "Okay now." And the other two officers chuckled, and he said, "Now y'all know she's 40." And they were like, "Oh," and they were like, "You don't even look it." And then he was like, "Yeah." And I was just like, that is not your information to share. And at this point, I'm feeling targeted. So all of those are events that have happened over a month ago. What happened on Monday, I actually messaged the lead, because there's 3 leads and one of them happens to be a woman. I called her within an hour of me leaving the job. So maybe between 12 and 12:30, I had called her and said, "Hey, this is what I experienced," because I started asking about my $240, about my shift work, getting paid, and I hadn't clocked in. And I need to remind y'all, hey, you already paid me for that week, but you did not add that shift that you guys asked me to work. And I'm talking on the phone with her because she's actually the lead that asked me to work. And then she was just like, yeah, that's that is has been conversed, but I'm glad you're talking to me about it. Now I will bring it back up. But I said, but what I'm talking about is that this other lead decided at that specific time that he wanted to discuss my me sleeping, and I'm trying to figure out. So now if he say I'm sleeping, then I don't get paid. Because what you're saying is y'all gonna let me work, but y'all gonna decide that we're not gonna get paid, and that's their choice, right? That's somebody's company, right? And I'm not gonna have no issue, but you tell me that beforehand. And I'm not at all saying that I did not sleep. I'm not saying that I did sleep. I am telling you that I did that report and that I did my hours, and I put myself out there that location that y'all requested me to go to. And y'all gonna wait a week, or y'all gonna wait till I talk to y'all about my money to be like, "Oh, you was asleep." But now, chill, because we can take this and bring some law in here, and then we can discuss this as like a criminal matter. If that's what y'all want to do. And I may not even be right, but y'all gonna have to next time. "Oh, we got footage of you." Turns out he had no damn footage. He made that. Not only did he make it up, he was just trying to be messy. And I'm just like, okay, now I feel like I'm being. This is bullying. And she was just like, yeah. She's like, actually, I'm glad you're speaking up, because someone else has brought this up, and I have brought this up. Now, she's like, now that I'm a lead, then, I'm talking about my peer. But now that I have other people that are on a different, that are entry-level officers, I can now build up a case. So I will bring this up, and I will talk to other management. I said, okay. Now that was Monday. Now today, I hadn't heard nothing, and it's Thursday. Mind you, I'm not even been at work, so I mean, it's not going to be easily accessible as opposed to me actually being at work, right? So I had messaged another lead who, remember, there's only 3. I had messaged another lead today, and I said, hey, this is the text message I want to send to lead officer S. Yeah. And then he texted me back, call me. The behavior of this particular lead, be acting like I get things done. Okay, cool. Here's something for you to get done. Because I didn't seen it. I didn't heard him talk about it and do things and move things around, especially with a request for my schedule on at least 2 or 3 different times. At least 2 times, and at least 3, including someone else. So I'm just like, okay, I actually have an issue. I have road grievances And so when he had texted me, oh, call me, I actually had called a homegirl and discussed the situation with her. And when I had discussed the situation with her, I felt validated. And then I called him. And when I called him, I was able to now talk to him less. Yes, I just feel like as a female, sometimes I do have issues that are just emotional. And so I don't want to go to a male. I just don't want to go to a male without thinking my thoughts all the way through and sifting through the issue, sifting out the emotions. Okay, so this is why I called. I'd already talked to a lady lead. I had already talked to a homegirl of mine who's also a security guard, and had also let me know that sometimes some women are hired because of the way that they look, as opposed to what they can actually secure. And I said, girl, that's a belief. That's not true. And she was like, sometimes some level 4 work that we get is only because of the way that we look, not because of they ain't thinking you can secure a thing. And they ain't even gonna put you in a place or position where you even have the opportunity to even demonstrate that. And I was like, well, girl, I don't know. Probably I don't have any experience to even debate that. So I'm gonna pocket it. So because it's not even related to what I was actually initially calling her about. So I get on the phone with this lead, who's the number 3 of 3. And after I discussed with him, he was just like, okay, well, that would make somebody uncomfortable. And now it's going to make it to where, like, you can't work over there with this person because they always throwing digs. I said, yeah. He said, all right, what I'm going to do is take this up to the owner of the company. So I was like, okay. So we hung up, and then I got back doing my work here at home. And because I have been trying to see how I can make money doing some side hustles, especially now that I'm in my house, right? So the owner of the company get on the phone, and the owner of the company get on the phone and say, so it's only other company on the phone, and another admin who has been conducting himself like the right hand man of this company. And it's the third and the third lead officer that has been going around this company as though he if there's something you need done, I'll get it done with admin. So I like that. So, but I needed to see it exercise on my behalf in this particular matter. So my tardies got to, so my initial complaint was, hey, I'm not going to be back for a week. Don't forget about my 12 hours that I worked when I was called to do overtime. I'm expecting that 240. During this phone call, they ended up talking about, oh, you've been late so many times, we actually should have let you go. You should have been fired. And you told me one time when we were just talking casually that you was let go from another job. Not you actually was called in front of a panel because of my tardies, yes. Then they started saying that what we're going to do is make it to where can't nobody do no overtime. I was like, oh, no, I feel like that's financial punishment. And with that comment, the owner said, oh, I'm offended. This is my company, and now I'm offended that you said that because I have the ability to make choices and decisions, and that suits my goals and motivations and the motivations toward my goals. And he was like, and another thing, how you gonna do the same thing that you complain about? I felt like this owner was now feeding me oranges and trying to tell me they apples. So what he's comparing is my complaint about one of his lead officers taking digs at me is the same thing as me in a conversation with all these men. When he say He's gonna make it to in his company where you can't work no overtime. He just hired 5 to and about to solidify 6 new officers, so now no one can work overtime. I said, "Oh wow, that's financial punishment," and he said he taking it. Now, if he's being punished, then yes, it's targeted at him. I feel punished. I said that's financial punishment. So I am feeling punishment. And that expression is how I feel about this decision. And he is saying he is offended. I said he is comparing apples to oranges. Now, also, he can look at it and this is how I can look at it, because I'm the inferior here. This is the owner of a company. If your child come to you and you tell them, go and pick up that bottle of water, and they say, oh man, I feel like I'm being harassed here. I feel like you're only asking me, not the other children. Then yes, you as the parent do have the right to take offense, because they need to follow your instructions cheerfully and quickly. But and I feel like maybe that's how the owner was trying to receive my my comment. And if that's the case, then why is it okay for this person who is a lead to then mock me? So listen, it's not okay for him to make these comments toward me, because I wasn't being insubordinate. These are comments he's making toward me constantly. And now I said a comment which the owner of this company was just reaching. And he wanted to dismiss my claim, which he has the right to do. You don't have to accept nothing. They said, what we're going to do is going to have you go to him and explain to him, you don't like none of this. And I said, I've already done that. But I did it out of anger because he constantly does it in the presence of others. But there's another officer that has decided that he is comfortable and confident to make comments toward me as well. But I just met him. And so now any officer coming on board now is going to follow suit. I'm just going to be like the punching bag, because I'm not saying anything. My problem is I'm constantly being caught off guard. Like, where did this come from? We're not even friends. Why are you talking this way? Lead officer asks, why are you talking this way to me? Are you upset? You need to talk to me directly. What is your deal? What is your problem with me? And I think, because, to be honest with you, just like my ex-husband, because I'm funny and people paying attention to me and they listening to me, and it has cut out for me a little limelight. And this lead, I could be just reaching as well. I believe that this lead officer is targeting me because that light is too shiny for him, or more so, shinier than his. And I will be the step up that he's trying to make in the presence or in the face of admin. But I do believe it. This is also somebody who buys donuts for people just unsolicitedly. And I said this in a meeting. I said that this man, when I was on the phone with the lead officer and the owner and another and a lieutenant on this in this company, I said this man buys donuts unsolicitedly. Just some days he'll just be like, oh, y'all want some donuts? And then I said that he's also found a jacket and was just like, hey, you want the jacket and some boots? And I was like, I don't want nobody boots. He's like, well, just take the jacket and wash it. And I was like, okay, I guess I could just take okay. I took the jacket and washed it, and I have a new jacket. I was like, oh wow. So that's so interesting that you gave this jacket. Also, you need to go comb your hair. What? That's who he really is. Why are there two polar opposites a part of this one personality? That's fine. That's who he is. That's who he is. Me trying to waste my time on why don't have nothing to do with me. It would help me with the next person and be able to catch it off. But for this owner to start saying, "Oh, you've been tardy so many times," and the lieutenant was just like, "Yeah, we actually been showing you grace." Yeah, I'm thankful for that. We're talking about. Hold on, I had to make sure per this conversation that they know that I agree that they have shown me grace about not putting me on suspension long before. But you're telling me I have to explain to y'all that this is not the time to be. But anyway, they have the right to do whatever it is they don't want to do. Now, this is why I made the video, because I feel like when I put my letter of resignation that it was out of pride. Because once I got in, I feel like maybe I got in my feelings after he said that, so the owner said, the last two people that we let go from this company, they mentioned your name. And that's true. I mean, I wasn't there, but he has already said this before. He said that, they claim that I walk around like I don't know nothing, and I'm like, that's making them angry. It's making them angry what my facial expression. That sounded so bizarre. You telling me that while they were getting fired, they mentioned my name and they said, "Oh, she just walk around here with her looking aloof." And it made you so angry that you wanted to fight me. As opposed to, girl, put some knowledge in your head. What is it that you don't know? Let me help you. It made you angry and furious that you tried to fight me, and that's why you got to let go from coming. Next dude, he said every time you come around, they be trying to what's up, they be trying to dap you. He's like, you manipulate people. I'm like, well, I mean, okay, what? You ain't got to say nothing to me when you. Yes, I am very approachable because I'm lively. I am very approachable. And this is something you don't like. That dude probably don't like women, or he didn't like that I didn't give him the attention that he normally gets. He's tall. I don't know. Right off the bat, he's like, you're manipulative and you know what you're doing. And I seen everybody when you got out your car just dap you up. I didn't even know what to say. Are you angry? What should I have done instead? Stay in my... I think he wanted the attention, or he was just and that's why he let go, because I don't know if he was trying to, did you want to fight me because of that? It's going to happen at each exchange. And now the owner is bringing these two people up. What does that have to do with you going to pay me my money in a week, or you going to pay me now? What? I felt like since he said that I felt like I was coming off a little obnoxious and I overstayed my welcome at this company, and that his motivation for throwing these pieces of information out was that he'd been tired of me. I said, let me do you one better. Yeah, I don't got to be nowhere I'm not wanted. The problem is I didn't pick up that I was obnoxious. I had to be forcefully told, I guess. So, I don't know. Just put down in the comments. I should have known. I don't know. Just wild to me. We learn something about ourselves, and I receive constructive criticism. I really do. I say I do, but the first time this owner told me that, hey, we let two people go, and they did mention your name, I wanted to ask you about that. I mean, should I have picked up from there that he was trying to code that I'm a problem? Because I didn't. I was just like, no, both of them is a problem. And I'm glad they're gone. Good riddance.